All right, let's get into it. What happens when a promising career is interrupted by injuries and scandal? Today, we're spilling the tea on Brandon Clarke. Hey, it's Emma, and I'm in a reflective mood today. You know I live for the drama and the glow-ups, but sometimes the story isn't a clean arc. Sometimes it's messy, human, and honestly, today's episode is that. So, let's talk. Brandon Clarke, a Canadian-American NBA player known for ruthless efficiency around the rim and high-energy defense. Born in Vancouver, raised in Phoenix. He went from Desert Vista High School to San Jose State, then transferred to Gonzaga, which is that powerhouse college program in Washington State. In 2019, Memphis Grizzlies die. He wins Summer League everything, makes the all-rookie team, and has some true playoff moments. Then the injuries hit, the legal trouble lands, and in early May of 2026, he dies at 29. Authorities said they were investigating a possible overdose, but, we have to be clear, no final cause was released at that time. Before we deep dive, let me set the scene with a quick story. Years ago, I tagged along to this summer basketball camp. Not me being a scout, but me being nosy. There was this kid, 17. Floaty jumper, bounce for days, sweetest yes ma'am attitude ever, total vibe. In the last scrimmage, she goes up for a putback and lands awkwardly. You could hear a hush roll over the gym. Trainers sprinted, parents frozen. The whole place felt like time snapped. He rehabbed forever, it felt like, and he told me, in that very teenage philosopher way, that the hardest part wasn't the pain. It was the space left behind. Once it was in midway, I could see how cool it was the time that this had to be a bit fun for me. It wasn't the kind of part that she could do for me in my life. I could see the time she got and then make it. But he ended up mentoring younger players, breaking down film, teaching footwork, cheering louder than anyone. That kid found a new lane, and I think about him a lot when we talk about athletes whose plans get derailed. Adaptability. Finding another purpose when the first one just vanishes. Okay, let's move on. Brandon Clarke's pap in quick hits. He's born in 1996 in Vancouver to a Canadian mom and Jamaican dad, moves to Phoenix as a little kid. He's a standout at Desert Vista High, that's a big public school in Arizona, with legit hoops talent. In college, he starts at San Jose State, levels up fast, then transfers to Gonzaga. And here's a quick ELI 5. He redshirts one season. Redshirt means you practice but don't play official games, so you keep a year of eligibility while getting stronger and smarter. For Brandon, that year set up a monster 2018-19 season. At Gonzaga, he wins West Coast Conference Newcomer of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. That's a first in that league. He leads all of Division I in field goal percentage around 69%, which is like video game cheat code territory. And then 2019 NCAA tournament, he drops 36 points with 5 blocks against Baylor. That puts him in a wild club with Shaquille O'Neal and David Robinson, who are both Hall of Fame NBA centers. He also breaks Adam Morrison's Gonzaga tourney scoring record. Yes, Adam Morrison, the mustachioed Gonzaga legend, receipts honey. Draft time in 2019, he's picked by the Oklahoma City Thunder, but his rights immediately go to the Memphis Grizzlies. And Memphis fans are like, "Yas, queen, we like this." Summer League rolls around. He wins overall MVP and championship game MVP, the first non-American to snag the title game MVP, and the first player in Summer League history to do the MVP double. That's a flex. Then he hits the regular season, gives you efficient buckets, gets named All-Rookie First Team in 2020. He even shows up at the Rising Stars Challenge, which is that all-star weekend game for first and second years. And in 2022, playoffs versus Minnesota, that series was a mosh pit, elbows, offensive boards, grit. Brandon's out there like a human trampoline. He puts up a 21-15 in Game 5, then 17-11, 5 dimes and 3 blocks in Game 6. That's big boy postseason work. Memphis moves on. The city falls a little more in love. He signs a 4-year, $52 million extension later that year. You love to see it. Stability, reward, belief. Now the valleys. Injuries. In 2020, he deals with a quad issue, that's your thigh muscle group, critical for everything from jumping to changing direction. In 2023, he tears his left Achilles. Quick explain. The Achilles tendon connects your calf to your heel. A tear is one of the most brutal injuries in basketball. Long rehab, not guaranteed to look the same when you come back. In 2025, he suffers a high-grade PCL sprain in the right knee. The PCL is a stabilizing ligament. Think of it as one of the ropes keeping the knee from wobbling under pressure. Later that year, he needs an arthroscopic cleanup for knee synovitis. That's inflammation inside the joint. It's a lot. On the court, he still gave you that high-efficiency finishing. Career NBA line, 300 plus games, around 10 points a night on over 60% shooting, rebounds, blocks, the glue plays. You know the type. Not loud stats, just winning ones. And in 2024, he even talks publicly about wanting to play for Canada's national team. He had dual citizenship his whole life, and that would have been a beautiful full circle moment. The body just kept negotiating with him. Oh, and speaking of drama, in April of 2026, he's arrested in Arkansas and charged with multiple counts, including possession and trafficking related to more than 200 grams of kratom. Quick to find, kratom is a plant that can act like a stimulant or have opioid-like effects. In Arkansas, it's categorized as a Schedule I controlled substance. He's also charged with fleeing and speeding over 100 miles per hour. He's released on bond with an arraignment set for mid-May. Arraignment is the court moment where the charges are read and a plea is entered. Important here, the case hasn't been decided. No verdict. Presumption of innocence applies. Full stop. Less than a month later, early May 2026, he dies in Los Angeles at just 29. His agency, Priority Sports, that's a player representation firm, announces it. Authorities say they're investigating a possible overdose, and they mention drug paraphernalia found in his home. But listen closely, toxicology and autopsy take time, so anyone stating the how or why as fact before that is doing too much. With all that context, here's my take, and you can fight me on this in the DMs. We love our athletes for the spectacle, but we are borderline allergic to their vulnerability. The system is set up to celebrate the dunk, the meme, the tunnel fit. But when someone is cycling through injuries, pain management, public pressure, and, actual legal danger, where's the net? I'm not saying enable bad choices. I'm saying the support scaffolding needs to be real, medical, mental health, financial literacy, legal guidance, not just a pamphlet day. 'Cause imagine being Brandon for a second. 1 year you're the Summer League it boy, first non-American to double up on MVPs. You're breaking NCAA tournament records once held by school legends. You lock down an extension because your team genuinely believes in your role, and then your body becomes a battleground, and suddenly you're a headline for all the wrong reasons. That whiplash is a lot for anyone, even with money, even with fans. High-key fame does not make you invulnerable. Now for something different. Pop culture footprint. He wasn't that guy who had a signature shoe or a viral reality show cameo, but I wish, honestly, someone greenlights a thoughtful doc. A dual citizenship kid, Vancouver to Phoenix to Spokane to Memphis, the 2019 March Madness explosion, the double MVP Summer League run, the 2022 playoff surge, and then the injuries, the legal spiral, and that unresolved end. Not salacious, just honest. Context matters. If you're new here, I'm the queen of the ELI 5, so here's a quick recap of the key beats I want you to remember. Gonzaga redshirt year equals rocket fuel. He becomes a national name in 2019. Drafted by OKC, traded to Memphis immediately, that swap shapes his whole pro identity. Summer League double MVP, rare and still iconic. All Rocky in 2020, playoff glow up in 2022. Injuries stack up in 2020, 2023, 2025. Legal case in 2026, no adjudication. Death in 2026, with the cause still pending at the time, investigators said possible overdose. Humans contain multitudes, so did he. Okay, pause, because this next part is everything for our next show. We're going bigger on athlete mental health and career transitions, not just the superstars, the rotational guys, the practice players, the cut and re-signed warriors. How do you build a life when your first dream changes? That's coming up. All right, what's next? For today, let's leave it here. Life is a game of rebounds. You miss, you reset. You crash the glass again. Brandon Clarke gave us a lot to cheer and a lot to chew on. Be kind to your body, protect your peace, and remember, even the quiet players can have the loudest stories. Later.